Hello my lovelies, how are we all this week? So, I just glanced out the window and Annie's weeding the little bit of gravel we have at the front, and all I could see was her bum and it distracted me. I'm going to start again.
My hair is curly, oh so curly, 'cause my teeth are pearly. Oh.
Hello, and how are we all this week? So, once again, I am going to be, now she's pulling faces at me at the window, this is great. Anywho, I'm going to press on. I am once again going to be taking inspiration from Retro Claude. Now, if you don't already follow Retro Claude, you should, because she's great. She's I'm just realising I'm a bit squint. She's a fellow UK chronic illness crafter. Her channel's been going a lot longer than mine, and she puts up a lot of content about how she's able to adapt things for her own personal circumstances. And recently she's been working on a thing. She's not been able to sew for quite a long time because she had a neck and shoulder injury, and so she's been trying to get back into sewing after quite a long period of time, and she's putting up a series of videos where she literally just does 20 minutes a day. She sets a timer and she does 20 minutes a day, and you know, spoiler alert, she's finding it a little frustrating, which I think I would too, but it put me in mind of something. So if you suffer from a chronic illness and you live in the UK, you have probably been sent on, or should I say invited to go to one of these courses to manage your condition, where basically they tell you to pace yourself and do Tai Chi. It's kind of the long and short of it. And I having a genetic condition that had doctors scratching their heads until I was eventually diagnosed in my mid-30s, I've been on a few of these. On this particular course, one of the things they suggested for pacing yourself, which we're all so terribly good at, is changing your activity every 20 minutes. So if you're doing an activity with one intensity, after 20 minutes do an activity with a different intensity. So like if I'm doing something standing up, then I have to do something sitting down, and etc, etc, which I've never been terribly good at, to tell you the honest truth. But I thought, after watching Retro Claude doing her 20 minutes a day, it put that back in my mind, and I was like, because a couple of weeks ago we talked about hyper focus and getting into that sewing flow where you end up doing far too much because you're in the zone, and I thought, why don't I circle back around, take a leaf out of Claude's book, but mix it up a little bit and try and do the changing my activity every so often. 20 minutes to me is an annoying number. I don't know why they said 20 minutes in particular. I'm going to do it in half hours because that just is more rounded and neat to me. 20 minutes is an irritating number to me, but that might just be my slightly spicy brain. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set timers, and I'm going to change the intensity of my activity after half an hour and see if that helps. So that being said, what are we going to work on this week? Annie has decided that she would like a kind of romper suit, like a jumpsuit that's shorts, romper suit. I always think romper suit makes it sound like it's for a baby, and she is my baby, but she's not a baby. So I have downloaded a pattern I bought off of Etsy. I will put a picture here and link it if I can. I'm not very good at linking things in the description, but I do try. And we're going to do this romper suit. So I have a duvet cover. This is a lovely soft cotton jersey, and it was at least a double duvet. I think it was possibly a king size duvet. It was huge, and I cut it, cut the seams and everything, so I had two bits of it. So I've got masses of this fabric and the pillowcases. So I'm going to do it in that, and it was a print out pattern. So the first half hour is going to be sticking this together. So let's set my timer and get on and see how I get on for the first half hour. On the timer, and I've managed to get it all stuck together and started a rough cutting out. So now I'm going to sit down, I'm going to set my timer again for 30 minutes, and I've got some sort of admin type things to do sitting in my comfy chair. If I'm brutally honest, I think 20 minutes would have been better than 30, because for the last 10 minutes my back's been really complaining. So particularly for a standing up task, I think I can understand why they said 20 minutes rather than 30 minutes. But you know, anywho, I'm going to set my timer for 30 minutes of sitting down. And I did start this quite late in the day, so I will need to stop for dinner soon. But let's see how we get on with the next 30 minutes. So in that half hour I managed to do the blue badge renewal application that I've been needing to do and eat my dinner. So excellent, that was a very productive half hour. Now I'm going to set my timer again for cutting out the rest of this pattern, but I'm going to set it for 20 minutes I think, because it's a standing up task. So I think 20 minutes is enough for a standing up task. So let's get to it. So my 20-minute timer's just gone off, and I'm going to be a good girl because, yeah, I do definitely need to stop. So I got everything cut out and I've started adding the extra 4 inches into the body length for Annie, because as we've already discussed in previous videos, she has the longest back known to man. So I've started to do that, but I'm going to be a good girl and sit down because my timer's gone off. So I'm going to sit down and do a bit of knitting, which is a different intensity, and I'm going to watch Richard Osman's House of Games. And I'm very sorry if you live in a country or a place that cannot access Richard Osman's House of Games on BBC iPlayer, because it's wonderful and I thoroughly enjoy it. So that's what I'm going to do now. Right, so I sat and knitted and watched House of Games, and that was lovely. I'm now going to do my last little sort of physical bit, and it might not even take 20 minutes, but I'm just going to finish off extending this pattern, and then it'll be bath time for little old me. So I'm just going to get on with that. Okay, so in that last half hour we managed, I managed to do all the adjustments I wanted to do. Stuart's decided just to choke himself to death. I managed to do all the adjustments I wanted to do for Annie. So I made the body a bit longer. Her bust measurement is a couple of inches bigger than the bust measurement on the biggest size. But when I measured the pattern, it would have been okay. But her tummy's a bit bigger than her bust measurement, and it's meant to be nice and loose. So I've added 2 inches in to the body measurement, which I can, easily enough take back out again if it is too big, because, I can just take it in at the middle seam or whatever. But I'd rather it was too big to start with, because it's easier to take out than it is to put in. And also I've got heaps of this fabric, so if this one only works for like pyjamas, that's fine, and then I can make her another one for wearing. It's really just for wearing around the house anyway. So that's me for today. I think I'm going to go up and run my bath, and I'm ready to start fabric cutting tomorrow. And I think I'm going to keep going with the pacing, because I think that's working quite well, and we'll see how we get on. Hello my lovelies. So it was another slow start this morning because I didn't have a great night, so it's 2:30 in the afternoon before we're even getting started. But that's okay, that's just, how we roll some days. So I'm not feeling terrific today, so I don't know how many rotations I'll manage, but I would really quite like to get the fabric cut out for this romper suit for Annie. That's my goal for today, is to do enough rotations to get this cut out. But before I go on, before I start, what are you doing, Kurt?
Sorry.
You're throwing things around.
Abusing my mouse as normal.
Abusing your mouse. So yeah, before I start, I received a lovely gift in the mail today from one of my lovely subscribers, Laurel, and these are vintage ironing board cover fasteners. When I was talking about doing up my ironing board in my last video, not my last video, the one before, when I did the cabinet makeover, she contacted me and she said, I've got just the very thing for you to help keep your ironing board cover in place. And she very kindly sent me these all the way from the States, and which I'm incredibly pleased with. They were 39 cents a set, so I think they're probably quite old, and I think that'll work perfectly. So I'll show you when I put them on, because I'm not opening out the ironing board today because I'm cutting out. But thank you again so much, Laurel. That was really kind of you. I really appreciate it. It's also the first thing I've ever been sent since I started my channel, so that was exciting, isn't it? But anywho, we're going to set the timer and we're going to see how much cutting out we can get done on the first timer. Now, because it's a standing up task, I'm only going to set a 20-minute timer, because as we discovered yesterday, that is enough. So let's do it. So I got the back cut out in that 20-minute section, and now I need to sit down. So I'm thinking I'm going to make a cup of tea and sit down and maybe do some knitting for half an hour, because yeah, 20 minutes was enough for my back, I think. So I sat down, had a cup of tea for half an hour, and then I used my next active half hour to deal with the weird smell under the stairs, in the cupboard under the stairs. So the recycling got emptied today, which is the cupboard under the stairs where we keep the recycling bags. So I've turned them all inside out and stuck them through the washing machine. I've mopped under there, I've cleaned it all out, I've put the basket that I keep my sweeping brushes and things in through the dishwasher. So hopefully the cupboard under the stairs will smell less disgusting. I think it's cat pee. I think one of the girls has been in there. So yeah, hopefully that's dealt with it. And then I had to have another half hour sitting down, so that's fine. So now I'm going to try and cut out the front of this romper suit. So let's get to it. Okay, so I've got quite a bit done. I've got the front cut out, and I've got the armhole bindings cut out, and I've mostly got the neck binding cut out, but my timer went off, so I'm going to stop. And I think that's me for active sessions today, because my back's really sore and I'm feeling really tired. So I don't think I'll do any more active sessions today. I think we will be doing sitting down things like knitting and reading and things like that. So that's, yes, we will get back to the active stuff tomorrow. Okay, so we're having another late start today because I've had to spend quite a bit of the day in bed. So it's now about 3 o'clock, and I'm just going to try and get started. I don't know how many sort of active rotations I'll manage today, but we'll have a try. I'd like to get the pockets cut out, and although it's not on the pattern, I'm actually going to put in a little placket at the front with press studs. So it's nice and easy for Annie to get in and out of, because you know she's not a great one for faffing with things. So if we put some press studs at the front, then it'll not be too much of a fight for her to get in and out of. So I want to get the placket cut out, and I want to get the pockets cut out, and then we'll take it from there and see what we manage. So I managed to get the pockets cut out and the plackets, and then I got out the overlocker. I need to change over the thread in the overlocker because it was gold thread that I had in it, so I'm putting blue thread in it. So I just took the opportunity to get the brush out and give it a little bit of a clean out inside because it desperately needed it. I'm trying to think when I last oiled it. It possibly needs oiled as well. So the next, I'm going to sit down for a bit because I'm struggling, and then the next active session I will thread up the overlocker, which may in itself take 20 minutes because it just depends if it's going to behave itself or not. Sometimes it threads up no problem, other times not so much. That 20 minutes went really well. It was almost exactly perfect to get the machine threaded up and cleaned, and it's now working absolutely beautifully. Look at that. Look at that. Tension's beautiful and everything. I'm really delighted. And it threaded up first time. That hardly ever happens. It threaded up perfectly first time. So, you know, I'm just going to take that win, try not to jinx it, and now I'm going to sit down and read for another half hour. Okay, so in that 20 minutes I managed to get the placket overlocked on and pinned into place, ready to be cover stitched down, and I managed to do that on both sides of the front, so that's great. My machine can become a my domestic sewing machine can become a cover stitch machine just by dint of putting in a twin needle, which I have, so I will do that. But I've decided that that's enough active sessions for today. It's now just coming up tea time. Kurt's just finishing off making the dinner, so I think that's enough active sessions for today. The rest of the day is going to consist of eating dinner and maybe some knitting while I watch my game shows, my Pointless and House of Games, and then it'll be bath time. So yeah, I actually managed more sessions than I expected to today, so that was good. Okay, so it's the middle of the afternoon. I'm going to be real with you. I actually just want to go back to bed, but I slept all morning and I'm not sleeping at night, so if I go back to bed, that's just going to make things worse. So what I'm going to try and do is another little 20-minute thing to see if that helps and see what I can get done in this 20 minutes. Okay, so that was good. I actually feel a tiny bit better for doing 20 minutes of something. So I managed to get the plackets cover stitched on, which I'm very pleased about. But what I have, one thing that has as a good thing that's come out of this doing things in 20-minute increments with the timer is because I wasn't able to just bash on and get this done yesterday. It gave me time to think, and I realised that for the top side of the placket, so obviously you've got your underside and your top side when you're putting your press studs in, I didn't want that sticking out an inch. I needed the under one to stick out an inch, but I actually needed that one to turn right under, so I was able to return it again and then cover stitch it in, and so actually by doing things in this way, it stopped me making a mistake. So that's really interesting. I like that. I'm now going to make a cup of tea and sit down for a bit. Okay, so in that session I did really well. I got the front centre seam below the placket sewed together, and I got the back centre seam sewed together, and I got the shoulder seams sewed together. So that 20 minutes was incredibly productive. That was excellent. And now I'm starting to join on the neck binding. So my timer's just gone off, so I'm going to stop there, and I will sit down for half an hour, and then we'll have a look and see what we're ready for the next 20 minutes. So that's turned into a really lovely afternoon actually. Because I was feeling a bit low energy, the sessions in between the crafting sessions, I've been lying on the couch reading a book, and I've really enjoyed it. And I've got a reasonable amount done. The front and back are attached to each other. The shoulder seams are attached, and I've got the neck facing on. the neck binding on. So yeah, we've done quite a lot. So that's, I'm going to stop there because it's kind of dinner time. We're just sort of getting ready for dinner and things. So that means it's sort of time for other activities. So that's sort of this crafting day done. And yeah, I'm really pleased with how that's worked out. Hi, so I haven't actually been on here at all yet today. It's been a very quiet, slow, gentle day, and I'm just about to go for my bath, but I have managed 4 20-minute sewing sections today. I don't know, I need to come up with a better word for that. Rotations, sections, periods of time. Anyway, I've managed 4 20-minute sessions today. Sessions is quite good. And we have an almost completed garment. I have attached the binding at the arm's eye. I have put the pockets in. I've attached the side seams. I've attached the crotch seam, and I've just pinned over the armhole bindings, ready to be cover stitched. And then we'll turn up the hem and cover stitch, and all we'll have left to do after that is the press studs. So tomorrow we should be able to get this finished in just a couple of sessions. So that's brilliant. It's actually gone really well. I think, yeah, I'm doing about the same amount of sewing as I would normally do, because like I'm averaging about 3 20-minute sessions a day, so that's about an hour of sewing. Maybe if I manage 4, that's an hour and 20 minutes of sewing, which I would kind of do anyway. But because I'm not doing it all at once, I'm not in as much pain and I'm not getting as tired, and I'm making far fewer mistakes because I'm stepping away from it every 20 minutes and doing something else and allowing my brain some downtime in my body and everything. So actually, yeah, this is going well. So I have managed 2 sewing rotations today, and the romper suit is to all intents and purposes finished. So what I'm going to do now is just sit down and hand sew in the press studs. Once the press studs are hand sewn in, that's it, finished, and I will see you in the reveal. Hang on, I'm going to come round this way. Yay! I love the fact that you're like incognito. Yes. Awesome. Buckets, it's got buckets. So we've got some issues, but it's a mock-up. So, and it's great for this, wearing to the beach.
Great for the beach and great for like sleeping in it.
Exactly. Because it's lovely and soft, isn't it?
Oh yeah, lovely and soft, lovely and blue as well. And it's just pops, it's just little poppers.
Yeah. So there we go. So I just thought I'd do a little wrap up of the experience. While I am delighted with Annie's romper suit, it's very much a mock-up because it's too big, and she'll just wear it around the house and that's fine. Where was I? Yes. So there's alterations to be done to the pattern. I didn't need to do the alterations that I made to the pattern, so I kind of just need to reverse engineer that, so that's fine. The experience of changing my activity intensity and just doing 20-minute bursts of sewing has actually been largely positive. I've actually found it really helpful. I've made far fewer mistakes because I'm just like not getting to that overtired stage where I'm doing things without, and my brain's not fully engaged, and by stepping away and coming back I can see if I'm about to make a mistake, so that's been really good. And yeah, I've accomplished quite a lot. On average I've managed about 3 20-minute sessions a day, which is good. That's like an hour and 20 minutes. No, an hour of sewing, which if I did all in one go would absolutely cause me a lot of pain and wipe me out, but by splitting it up, I've been able to do it. But on that note, I just want to put a sort of a disclaimer and word of caution here. While I always try and keep things as upbeat and positive as I can on this channel, we have to inject a little note of realism. And we have to remind ourselves not to compare our lived experience with somebody else's heavily edited online output. So I'm going to be truthful about this week. This week I have mostly been in bed. I've been able to be out of bed for, on average, about 4 hours of the day. In between the 20-minute sewing sessions, more often than not, I've had to lie down because I'm struggling. I'm really struggling this week. It's not been a good week. So while it looks like I'm having lots of fun and I've made a romper suit and it's yay, it's been a tough week. It's actually been a really tough week. So remember, if you're lying in bed watching this thinking, oh, I wish I could do what she can do, it's not, you know, it's edited. It's heavily edited. You think of all the hours in the week, and I managed to do a couple of 20-minute bursts of sewing. So remember that. Don't compare your experience to my experience. We're all different. We're all living with what we live with, and we all deal with it how we deal with it. So yeah, just bear in mind editing and all that. I've got a fly flying about. That's very annoying. So I didn't want to bring the mood down, but I did want you to remember that that is the reality of things. Fly, honestly. So that's me for this week. Hopefully I will have a slightly better week next week. Who knows? I haven't decided what I'm going to tackle next week. I've got a large pile of mending and alterations and things which, you know, Annie, although she loves her romper suit, has reminded me several times that her dungarees need fixed, which are her favourite article of clothing. So I do need to get on with that. So we'll maybe sit and do some mending together next week in our 20-minute bursts, because I actually am going to keep going with the 20-minute sewing sessions. I really like them. So thank you, Retro Claude. Excellent. Thank you for reminding me of that piece of advice I had in the past and had forgotten about. I hope you're also managing to get on with your 20-minute bursts and that they're proving helpful to you. And for the rest of you, I want to know what you've been managing this week. I want to know what's been bringing you joy this week. And I just, you know, I enjoy hearing about your lives. So take care, everyone. Look after yourselves. And I hope wherever you are, you and your loved ones are safe and well as can be expected. And I will see you next week. Love from Liz.
My hair is curly, oh so curly, 'cause my teeth are pearly, oh so pearly, just because I always wear a smile, oh baby, and try to dress up in the latest style. I mean the latest style, 'cause I'm glad I'm living. Take trouble smiling, never whine, oh whine, 'cause my color's shady and it's slightly different maybe.